What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Print, Shift, Repeat, bro. We got some upgrades to our little Ninja 400 here, and I thought I would share them. And the biggest thing is that I changed the shift linkage. I inverted it, so now we are GP shift, and I'm going to explain what GP shift is. In short, it's changing the gearing so that instead of going one down to first gear and up to neutral and then the rest of the 5 gears up, it's reversing that. So it's all the way up is first, down half a click is neutral, and then all the way down 5 gears is the rest of the gears. So it's I'll explain why it's ideal for doing stuff on the track. But what I also did is I installed these Norton Racing rear set risers. So if you're familiar with racing or riding on the track, usually every track bike needs rear sets, because usually these will scrape at the stock height, especially for the Ninja 400, which has got an exceptionally low rear set height. So these allow you to raise the rear sets up quite a bit so you don't scrape the peg, which I'm not trying to do. And I also got these GB Racing covers. We've got the clutch, the stator, and the clutch, and the water pump there, I think. And then also on this side, we got the Norton Racing rear set riser as well. Other than that, I did R6 throttle tube. So this is a much shorter throw than the stock Ninja 400, which is just better for doing stuff on the track where you don't want to be this really long for doing stuff on the track. Like perfect about 1/8 turn, and you really feel the difference, because otherwise your wrist is all the way down and you're just cranking and yanking it. And that's not a good feeling. And then I got this lever guard, and we'll see how these feel. They're actually just some cheap Amazon ones. I want to get some Woodcraft ones. It's to protect your brakes in case another rider runs into you. Don't go like this, and then boom, down you go. So I thought I would just put the other one on the side, even though you don't really need this side. You see guys in MotoGP and like Moto3 and stuff, they don't really have one on this side because they don't really need it, because nothing's going to happen really if you hit this. But I wanted to see what it felt like. I also upgraded the grips to these Domino GP grips. So those are the upgrades. We're going to talk a little bit about GP Shift, which I put a little sticker here, a Moto D Racing sticker, just to remind me that it is GP Shift. And so we're going to go for a ride in it for the very first time with GP Shift, and I'm going to explain a little bit about GP Shift, and then we're going to see how it feels to like go through the gears. This is really my first ride. This is the first time I'm riding with this GP Shift, so we'll see how it goes. All right, 1 up, 5 down. Got to remind myself of that. Okay, man, it's a hot one today. Okay, so we're gonna go underneath here into first gear. Woo, goodness gracious! It is hot. It is so hot. Oh my goodness. Alrighty. Okay, taking a ride here. Alright, downshift by pressing down. That's a weird feeling. Wow, weird feeling. Okay. Woo. Alright. So, why would you want GP Shift? Well, the reason why you would want GP Shift is when you're on the track and let's say you're accelerating out of a corner, you want to be able to put you have your foot, usually if you're like down, let's say taking a right hand corner, your whole body's going to be leaned over, and therefore this leg is going to be stretched out over the tank like that, and you're going to have this knee all the way down. And when you're accelerating, it's hard to get your toe underneath to shift up, which is what you would normally do if it's a normal shift. But on GP Shift, all you have to do, since your gears are reversed, you just click down. Instead of wrapping your foot underneath the peg and then going up, you click down, which makes it much easier on acceleration. Now you might ask, well, isn't that going to make it harder to downshift? And the reason why it's not as hard downshifting like that is because when you're going into a corner, you're going to do all of your downshifting when you're straight up above the bike, straight up. That's how you should be doing your downshifting, is once you're going into the corner, as soon as you hit the brakes, you want to do your downshift, get it out of the way before you tip the bike over. Whereas when you're coming out of a corner, you're going to be leaned over when you need to shift. So one thing I'm immediately noticing is that around 8,500 RPM, with these lever guards that I put on, I had to take off the stock bar ends. Okay. I had to take off the stock bar ends, which are like weights basically that they put on the end of the bars, and what those do is those prevent vibrations in the handlebars, and I can already tell that without those on there, it definitely is way more vibrations. At right around 8,000 RPM, it's like oh my god, wow, I'm doing 90, okay. Alright, let's try the downshift here. Oh, that's not too bad. That's really not too bad. Now, I feel like it's going to take some practice in order for me to remember it, like to have it be just second nature. But I figured when I got back into riding, it'd be the best time to learn GP shift, because I'm a little bit rusty, so learning GP shift should technically be a little bit easier, because my habits aren't as well formed, because it's been a while since I've ridden. So yeah. Whew, okay, well, so far downshift, nice. Feels like it's easier to blip the throttle too for some reason. I don't know why. That's just, it seems like it just kind of naturally makes sense. It feels like it naturally makes sense to do pulling up be slowing down, you know, downshifting in the gears, and then pushing forward be going up through the gears. It just makes sense, seems like. A little downshift braking. Not bad. Oh, there I go. See there? I accidentally upshifted. Oh, there I go again. Now I'm falling into. Okay, now I'm in first. So I figured that would happen on this ride, as I was going to downshift, and instead I upshifted. Well, better to get that out of the way on the street and learn it on the street, I guess. I mean, you learn it pretty quick on the track, I'm sure, but I just figured I would go for a little ride with the GP shift, get the hang of it. The bars are so much more vibrating, though, I'm not gonna lie. It feels a little odd. The throttle tube is amazing, though, honestly. The throttle tube is awesome. So much better. So much better. So much better. Oh yeah. Wow. Oh, it feels awesome. I just can't wait to take it to the track. Brakes. It's just been a while since I was on a sport bike, so I can't really judge if these brakes are great or not, but the other next mod that I want to do, so I'll tell you a little bit about the next things that I'm going to do to this. The next thing I'm going to do is probably, I ordered a GSXR 600 rear shock. I think it's like a 2015. I think it's 2011 through 2016 17 or something like that. I'm not positive, but those rear shocks will actually bolt on to the Kawasaki rear shock, and well, you just remove the Kawasaki rear shock and that'll bolt on. You just need a little adapter, and Norton Motorsports makes these adapters for the Ninja 400 that'll allow you to use the GSXR 600 to 1000 rear shocks. Okay, there I go down, upshifting again. Oh. Down is forward. So I got this shock, and why would you want to replace the Ninja 400 rear shock? Well, the stock shock is only adjustable for preload. The GSXR 600 shock is fully adjustable, and fully adjustable means you can do a lot more when it comes to suspension adjustments for your weight, for your riding style, than you can with this. And this shock is just in general pretty street oriented, and so it's not really necessarily as ideal for track riding. And the other thing that's kind of expensive that I don't know if I'll do probably for a while, or we'll see, but the front end fork cartridges are generally something that people swap out if they're getting more serious about track riding on a Ninja 400, because the stock shocks are just kind of soft, not gonna lie. But for someone that's a little bit lighter like me, it's not maybe as much of a detriment, but it definitely, regardless, if you're pushing the bike hard and you're braking hard, that front end just wants to compress quite a bit. You have to really think and remind yourself, GP shift, GP shift, GP shift. Oh, it's kind of, it's ingrained in your mind. But honestly, if it's something that you want to do, just because it's kind of cool to do it the same as racers do or whatever, or you just want to try it out, it's really not hard to do on your bike. I don't think it's something that takes much. I think all I did was I switched the linkage. Now with the Norton Motorsports, they give you an extended little linkage so that you can have the distance be from the new height of the rear sets. But if you're just going to do it on your stock bike, you just flip the little thing around. I can't really explain it, but you just flip it upside down and then you get GP shift. It just takes about 5 minutes. I wish I could tell when I don't know, I feel like I have to be able to tell when the ABS kicks in, but I don't really want it to kick in, but I also just kind of wonder where the limit is, but the limit is not to be found on the street. But it's good to practice braking. Oh, wow. It's not bad. All right. Ready? Shift. Woo! Just getting used to it. Getting used to the GP shift. The downshift, when you click up, is definitely a different vibe. Definitely a different vibe. But it's really not that hard to get used to, I don't think. Alright, well, I don't really have much else to talk about. The things I would take away from this upgrade test here, it would mainly be the vibration from the handlebars as a result of getting rid of the bar ends is pretty significant. But it's not something that I don't think that would affect me too much on the track On the street, it's a little annoying because you're just sitting here for a long time, not focusing too much on, you know, you're just kind of just cruising, so you notice it more. But on the track, I don't know if I would notice it as much. But to me, it's better to have safety in mind and not have someone hit you and then cause you to crash. Because you can bump someone on the track, you know, not that it's preferable, but you can bump someone and it'll be okay. But when you bump someone and then as a result they hit your front brakes, that's like an instant crash. And oftentimes that's probably going to happen maybe like in the middle of a corner, or maybe when you're braking and you're going from really fast to really slow. So it's better to be protected, in my opinion. And the only thing is it does come in right around when you would want to be using it on the track, which is around 8,000 RPM. Pretty big vibe right here. Pretty big vibrations. Another reason I think actually why it's happening too is because the handlebars, the grips that I put on, these Domino MotoGP grips, are going to be much thinner. They're much thinner than the stock grips, so you naturally feel more of what's happening with the bars. But the rear set's much more aggressive. My feet are much higher. You can see here, I don't know if you can see it, but my feet are so much higher on the bike. My heel is almost hitting the exhaust. And I also got an exhaust hanger bracket that's going to be coming as well. So yeah, that's really about it. I feel great on the bike now. It feels a lot more aggressive. The one thing I really wish I could change is the clip-on height, but you can technically do that, but you gotta make some modifications to this whole part of the fairing and the bike and stuff. So I don't know if I'm quite ready to do that. I think if I go full track and I don't do street on this bike anymore, that's what I'd do. Bring clip-ons really far down so it's much more aggressive, easier to ride on the track. But until then, this is what I got, and yeah, it feels great. GP Shift is definitely a vibe. Woo! All right, guys. Until the next one. PSR out.